Welcome to another contribution for Utopian. My name is Ernesto Toledo and you can see my profile on your screen. In this video, we will continue with the LibreOffice macros course. We will begin to explain the manipulation of ranges. Today, we will explain how to assign validations to them. Previously, we had already used validations. However, we only made calls to dialog boxes with UniDispatcher. This time, we will assign the validation directly to the ranges. For this, I have already prepared some procedures and a spreadsheet. Let's explore the first one. First, I create some objects. To the doc object, I assign this component. I assign the A2-D2 range to the vRange object using the getCellRangeByName method of the first spreadsheet. Later, I create a copy of vRange.validation in the opval object. To define the type of validation, we will use the type property of opval. And in this first example, I will assign com.sun.start.sheet.validation type.any. This type of validation does not really ask for any condition on the content of the range. I use it essentially to eliminate previous validations that may exist. Now I will assign the type of validation that really interests me, whole. Whole is a type of validation through which you can make comparisons with whole numbers. Now I'm going to define the error alert style property. This property defines how calc will react when invalid values are entered. We have four options: stop, warning, info, and macro. In this first procedure, we will explain the first three. To choose a condition on the type of validation, we will use the function setOperator. In this first example, we will use the equal condition. Equal is a condition that requires a single argument, the number with which we will make the comparison of equality. We will assign this number through the function setFormula. We will make a comparison with the number 7. There is no point in comparing with a decimal value since the validation type is whole. To define the message that will be sent if an invalid value is entered, we will use the error message property. In this example, I will assign the text "Please enter 7." We must now define the showErrorMessage property as true, otherwise validation would not make sense. Finally, we assign the object opval to vRange. Let's execute the procedure and test the validation. If I enter a different number of 7, it sends me the defined message. When given OK, the cell returns to its previous state. To make comparisons with decimal numbers, in the type of validation, it is necessary to establish decimal. We will ask for the number 7.5 as an example. Let's try the procedure. When entering the number 7.5, no message is sent. By entering a different number, I get the indicated message. Note that this dialog box has only one button. By clicking OK, the value returns to the previous value. Let's now use the alert style warning. Let's run and test. Now two buttons appear, OK and Cancel. By default, the Cancel option is selected. By clicking on the Enter button, the value returns to its previous state. If I click OK, the new value is accepted. We will now test the Info Alert style. The only difference with respect to warning is that by default the OK option is selected. Let's now go to the next procedure. In this procedure, we will explore other conditions that we can assign to validations. The first part of the code of this procedure is identical to the previous one. We will now prove the condition operator not equal. This operator receives a single argument that it is assigned in the same way as in the equal operator. The difference is that now if the value that is entered in the range is equal to the designated value, it will be rejected. For the value to be accepted, it must be different. Let's use the greater condition operator to show how to make comparisons about reference. It is as simple as placing the reference using the function setFormula1. Let's execute the procedure and test the validation. Since there is no value in cell A1, it is interpreted as 0. If we enter a negative number, it is rejected. After entering a number, we try it again. Everything has the expected behavior. In a similar way, we can use conditions like greater equal, less, and less equal. We also have the condition operator between. In this case, two values will be necessary for the interval to be defined correctly. For the first value, we will use the function setFormula1 again. For the second value, we will use the setFormula2. After assigning the error message, we will test the procedure. Everything works as expected. Finally, we have the condition operator not between. In this case, only values outside the range defined by the established values will be accepted. I will use this same procedure to teach you how to use the input message property. To use it, we will previously define the show input message property as true. Then, we assign to the input message the message we want to show. This message will be displayed when selecting in the cell that has the validation format. Let's execute the procedure and let's test this characteristic. As you can see, the defined message is displayed when one of the cells is selected. Let's go to the following procedure. Again, we have a similar code. On this occasion, we will apply the validation on the A3-D3 range. We will use the validation type date. For the type of validation date, we can use the same conditional operators as in the numbers, since in fact the dates are interpreted as numbers in calc. As an example, I will use the greater validation operator. I will define the argument as 43,213 that corresponds to the recording date of this video. Let's execute the procedure and test the validation. If we enter a lower date, it is rejected. By entering a larger date, it is accepted without problems. In the following procedure, I will show you how to use the type of validation text length. By means of this type of validation, we can establish conditions on the length of the change introduced in the range. For this example, I will define as valid value only text less than 10 characters. Let's execute and test the procedure. It is possible to enter text smaller than 10 characters. When entering a longer text, it is rejected. In the next example, I will show you how to make validations that verify if the value entered belongs to a list previously prepared. To achieve this, I will use the list validation type as a condition operator equal, and through setFormula1, I will define a range of data that will make up the list. Let's execute the procedure and test the validation. As you can see, if I enter any of the values in the list, the value is accepted. On the other hand, if I enter a value that does not belong to the list, it is rejected. To finish this video, I will show you how to execute more elaborate actions after failing a validation. For that, let's explore the following procedure. It is very similar to previous one, only that on this occasion we will use the alert style macro. This alert style will cause a procedure to run automatically when the validation fails. To assign the procedure to be executed, we will use the error title property, assigning the name of the procedure. As you can see for this example, I am assigning the error message procedure. This procedure simply sends a message and writes a text inside cell G6. Let's execute the procedure and test the validation. It has the expected result. Being able to assign procedures as alert styles opens up a whole world of possibilities where we can apply knowledge that we have developed in previous videos and those that we are still exploring. I hope these videos seem interesting to you. See you!